out of my third year into my fourth year of college, I had a mechanical, weld tech engineering job at Chrysler. And I was doing 60, 70 hours a week at Chrysler. And I kind of saw myself like, dang, this is going to be my real life job. That's what I'm going to school for. I loved automotive and all that stuff. And it was brutal. I think over the 12-week internship, I had 4 days off. And I was doing 70 plus hours. And that's where I'm like, I'm going to do everything I can to kind of really kind of dive in and see if I can really make this NFL stretch happen. At that point, I had 3 seasons at Ferris. Only played one of those seasons. I kind of just a backup role. And then that 4th season when I was there, that's when I had that breakout year, you call it. I think I had 19 and a half sacks in one season, tons of TFLs and tons of stuff. And I will say that was a huge driving factor for me was, man, this is what real life might be like after football. And that's great. That's blue collar. That's how I grew up. And I was fine with doing that. But the fact that I had the potential chance of doing something with the NFL and with what I loved, playing football and being competitive like that was such a cool piece where I'm like, you know what, it's not too late. Let me really kind of dive into this. And that's when I really kind of took that next step in college. And it was really cool to be able to do that.
And now you've put Ferris State. I mean, it's like a family tradition now, right? Your younger brother, is he
Yeah.
playing ball there too?
No, he just graduated last year, so a year and a half ago.
But he played ball there.
He did. He was there for 5 years, 6 years because of COVID year. He was up there, and then my whole family's been up there. They're up there all the time still. So yeah,
That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
they still have the land. Yeah,
So you have one breakout year, and in your mind, it's like, okay, I think we have something here.
yeah,
The draft, you're leading up to draft day.
yep.
Baltimore picks you. So explain that day, like it's draft day, you may or may not be getting drafted,
Yep.
right? I mean, it wasn't a guarantee.
No, yeah, no. Those late rounds. I mean, anything past 5th is kind of like, depending how the draft goes, you could maybe go 6, you could go undrafted. Like, it's so up in the air. And you're getting calls about before the 7th round started. I started getting calls about, hey, look, would you guys? Me and my agent, he's like, hey, would you sign here if we don't pick you in the 7th? It's like, well, look, the 7th's not even over yet, and y'all still have picks.
Yeah.
Like, let's make something happen. And Baltimore pulled the trigger, and I did 2 years there. And the draft day was crazy because I guess, and I'm sure Steve Rinella, Meat Eater, he said something in one of his hunting shows, which was so cool and it really rung home with me one time was, the more something sucks, the more you remember it, and the closer you get to it, and the people around you in those moments. And Ferris sucked. I loved every moment of it, but it was tough. It was a grind. My freshman year, the other walk-on guys, we had a new locker room. We didn't travel. They had us pulling lockers out of the locker room, these old metal lockers, for 10 hours in one of our Saturdays in college. And it was a grind. I mean, the weight room wasn't no bigger than this room here. I mean, it was 3, 4 squat racks, 2 bench presses, and that was it. Trying to fit a whole team in there, and actually all the sports teams for Ferris trained there. Broken plates, bent bars, and everything like that. And those are some of my best friends to this day still. And so the draft day came, and we knew Thursday, Friday wasn't going to be anything. It was just late round or nothing. And we told our family, they all wanted to come out. Because, when you're from a small town, family's everything. And my aunts, uncles,
I love
whoever.
that quote.
Yeah, and they came, and everyone were like, look, I might not get picked. If you want to come, we'll do a little thing at the house, just have some finger foods, whatever, Swedish meatballs, typical Midwest snacks, chicken buffalo dip, whatever from the crock pot, and we'll just see what happens. And I think we ended up having like 40 people at the house. It was meant to be like 5-10 people, immediate family. And I told some of my college buddies, and they drove from all over Michigan, 4 or 5 hours away, probably 20 of them. And so yeah, when that 7th round and Ozzie Newsome made the call, and I actually got to the point where I was upstairs. I couldn't sit by anybody. I was up by myself, and I just was sitting up there with my mom. My mom and dad were kind of in and out of the room, and Ozzie called and, hey, how would you like to be a Raven? And I was shell shocked. I didn't know. At that point, you're kind of sitting there. You've been waiting the whole day. Late in the day, it's like, okay, this might not happen. Okay, what's going to happen? Agents calling, what different teams calling. Where would you want to go? They've got this defense playing here. These players are here. And then Baltimore calls, like, hey, look, would you want to? You're going to become a Raven. It was surreal. It was such a cool thing. I mean, coming from a walk-on where no one's ever been drafted from Ferris, just kind of, it was really cool.